You become a better mom when you also take care of yourself. Here's the reality na never na pag-usapan dahil laging sa nanay lang ang sisi. Kaya maraming nanay na natatakot or ayaw nang magbuntis ulit kasi maraming emotionally absent na lalaki. What if your environment isn't supportive? Hi, I'm Dashley. Single mom na hindi perfecto pero may progreso. Let's talk about motherhood, one honest conversation at a time. Welcome sa safe space kung saan pag-uusapan natin ang parenting, healing, growth, at kung paano magpakananay nang hindi kinakalimutang alagaan ang sarili. In this episode, ang pag-uusapan natin ay postpartum. So, mahaba-habang usapan to. And for sure, madami akong take about this. So, yeah, let's talk about it. The postpartum no one prepared us for. Before we dive deeper, I want to say that this video isn't just for first-time moms. It's also for first-time dads, husbands, partners, and even family members. No, if you have a husband, a partner, or a family member with you during this season, or you're planning to get pregnant, I hope you'll invite them to sit down and watch this with you, because this is a very important topic, and this might help them understand what you're going through. So you don't have to keep explaining yourself and making you feel like you're being dramatic or you're being too sensitive, no. Postpartum is real and every mom deserves to be understood and not judged. I think mahalaga na alam natin kung anong ibig sabihin talaga ng postpartum because a lot of people, especially men, only see the physical side of it. They see that the baby is already there. So they assume everything should go back to normal. But that's not how postpartum works. Many first-time dads also struggle kasi they're entering a completely new chapter of life. Ayun nga yung sinasabi ko sa last vlog ko, no? Some men aren't emotionally mature or mentally prepared for the changes that come with becoming a parent. Eh paano pa kaya ang mga nanay na nagdala ng bata, di ba? And that can affect how they support their partner or let's say the mother of their child. And when there's a lack of understanding, a new mom can end up feeling alone during one of the most vulnerable seasons of her life because she is still expected to show up as a partner or a family member during this time na ninanavigate niya yung motherhood. At ang tanong ko, bakit? So before we dive into my personal experience, let's first talk about what postpartum actually means in medical terms. I already knew about this, but of course, I wanted to make sure na I was giving accurate information. So before I share my own thoughts and experiences, I wanted to give you a simple and medically accurate explanation of what postpartum really is. So if you're a guy and you're watching, listen to this. Yung postpartum, that is the period after a woman gives birth. It's when her body starts recovering from pregnancy and childbirth. So the first 24 hours after giving birth, yun yung mga critical period because doctor has to monitor the mother sa mga possible complications and heavy bleeding. Then the first 6 weeks are considered the main postpartum recovery period. And during this time, yung uterus ng mga babae ay nagsishrink na back to its normal size. And then yung postpartum bleeding, gradually nagsistop na siya. Tapos yung mga sugat from vaginal birth or let's say C-section, unti-unti na siyang nag-heal. And yung hormone levels, it can change rapidly, no? Although the first 6 weeks are the main focus medically, para sa akin kasi, postpartum is so much more than a medical term. It's not just your body that's healing. It's also your mind, your emotions, your identity as you learn to become a mom. For some moms, that season lasts a few months, lalo if they are well treated and nasa magandang environment sila. For others, it takes years. And for some like me, there are parts of postpartum like the, let's say, identity shift that stay with us until now because becoming a mother changes you in ways that, you know, don't simply go back to normal. This is a really important topic for me because postpartum isn't just about hormones. It's also about a major life transition sa mga first-time moms and even yung mga experienced moms, no? Kasi not every mom experiences the same symptoms, but these are some emotional and mental struggles that many mothers go through and sometimes carry with them if they don't get enough support. One of the most overlooked parts of postpartum is what some people call mom rage. You know about this, but I would explain it to you. Hindi siya simpleng pagiging mainitin ng ulo. It's your body and mind telling you that you've been carrying too much for too long. Imagine this, no? Your hormones suddenly drop after pregnancy. Tapos gigising ka every 2 or 3 hours to feed your baby. And pag breastfeeding ka pa, your body is literally producing milk around the clock, which takes a lot of energy. Alam ng mga breastfeeding moms yan. I was there. Alam ko yan. Many breastfeeding moms also experience yung sore nipples, breast engorgement, clogged ducts or mastitis, no? All of which are painful and exhausting. Then imagine this, you are also the default parent. Ikaw yung nagpapadede, ikaw yung nagpapatulog, ikaw yung nagpapalit ng diaper, ikaw ang unang tinatawag kapag umiiyak si baby. You barely have the time to shower. I remember when Kali was younger, pag nag-shower ako, dun lang ako nakakakuha ng peace of mind. At the same time, dun lang ako nakakapag-isip-isip. Pero it will last ng 5 minutes lang kasi maya-maya iiyak na naman si Kali or hahanapin niya na naman ako kasi she needs me, di ba? Sobrang exhausting. Even to eat a complete meal or even to sit down for a few minutes, hindi mo na magawa. Now, let's add another layer. What if your environment isn't supportive? What if instead of having a partner who lightens the load, he becomes another source of stress? Ako, I'm guilty of this too. There were moments, especially during Kali's younger years, when I would snap out of nowhere whenever she did something wrong. And it wasn't just once a week. It happened frequently, like almost every day. And imagine mo kung ilang beses sa isang araw ako nagagalit. Nasa itsura ko ba? Wala. Now, I can see a huge difference in how I handle my anger since I have a lot of alone time these days. There's this one moment na I found myself reflecting. Bakit kaya ako laging galit noon? Bakit kaya umabot sa point na sobra kong napapalo si Kali? Ganun mga reflections, no? And I realize that your environment plays a huge role in it, especially when there's already so much going on in your life and you constantly feel unheard, disrespected, or like you're carrying everything on your own. Gusto ko lang i-clear, no, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying that your environment is a huge factor. It can either help you heal or add even more weight to the emotion you're already struggling with. Maybe they don't understand what postpartum is. Maybe they expect everything to go back to normal right away. Maybe your partner dismisses your feelings, avoids helping with kids, or even makes you feel like you're overreacting. The stress keeps piling up. When your emotional cup is already empty, the smallest things, yung mga paulit-ulit na na-communicate mo na, pero hindi pa din nasusunod, can trigger big emotions. That's why some moms become more irritable, impatient, or quick to snap. Not because they are bad mothers, but because they are overwhelmed, exhausted, and unsupported. Until now, actually, nadala ko yung pag-snap kay Kali from time to time. I'm not a perfect mom, pero right now, I can say na it's more manageable. But here's the reality na never napag-usapan dahil sa nanay lang ang laging sisi at judgment ng mga tao, no? When, in fact, becoming a father also comes with the responsibility to learn about it and to be present, not just for your partner's physical recovery, but for her emotional and mental well-being too. Kaya pansin nyo, maraming marriages dito sa Pilipinas ang nagiging strained or nauuwi sa hiwalayan during this season kasi maraming emotionally absent na lalaki. And worse, some even have narcissistic traits. Sino kaya yun? And if you're a guy watching this, and nainis ka sa sinabi ko, dude, maybe you should start looking in the mirror, seek professional help if needed, and choose to change. Kasi kung yung mga behavior na nabanggit ko nagre-resonate sa'yo, it's worth reflecting on them. It's not too late to treat your woman right. Postpartum is not something a woman should have to go through alone. One of the greatest forms na pwedeng ibigay ng partner or ng family members is taking the time to understand what she's going through and choosing to be there no matter what, no? Especially sa mga experienced moms, you should never judge and compare your struggles to first-time moms kasi we have different struggles and we came from different generations. So it's not a competition kung sino ang mas malakas. But ayun nga, since napag-uusapan na natin ang postpartum ngayon, I hope you open your mind and be gentle to those first-time moms. Support doesn't erase postpartum totally. Pero it's a big help and it can make a huge difference in how a mother experiences it. Sometimes, what a postpartum mom needs is not advice. Kailangan niya ng pahinga, kailangan niya ng pangunawa. They need a partner who sees that she's healing too. Kaya maraming nanay na natatakot or ayaw nang magbuntis ulit. Like me, hindi dahil ayaw nila ng anak, kundi dahil ayaw na nilang balikan ang pain, trauma, and hirap ng pinagdaanan nila during time ng pregnancy and postpartum period. For some mothers, it wasn't the pregnancy itself that scared them. It was the bad experience, lalo na if they are unsupported, unheard, and left to carry everything on their own. The second thing we're gonna talk about is mom guilt. Madalas nating ma-feel yan. I honestly think that mom guilt is one of the heaviest parts din ng postpartum na hindi rin napag-uusapan. Hindi ko alam kung hanggang kailan tatagal yan. Pero ako, from time to time, nafe-feel ko pa din ang mom guilt. I think kasama na yan. Once naging nanay ka na, there will always be a side of you na nafe-feel guilty ka. Imagine this, sobrang pagod ka na. Ilang gabi kang kulang sa tulog. Hindi ka pa nakakakain ng maayos. Tapos, iyak ng iyak si baby. Madaling araw. Gigising ka. Bigla ka na lang mapapasigaw ng sandali lang. O kaya napapalakas yung hele mo ng konti, no, pag exhausted ka na. Then finally, pag nakatulog na siya, you will look at your child, peacefully sleeping. Ikikis mo siya sa noo. Tapos ikaw naman yung iiyak. At magsasorry ka. Ang line mo, I'm sorry, baby. I'm trying my best. I'm sorry if I got mad. I'm sorry kung nahela kita ng malakas. Mommy loves you so much. Have you gone through this? Kasi I remember nung naranasan ko to, I felt so guilty. And I remember messaging my fellow moms if nangyayari din ba sa kanila yon or if nagiging ganun din ba sila at times. And yes, na-validate yung nafe-feel ko. Kasi minsan gusto mo lang uminom ng any hot drink, no? Let's say coffee or hot choco. Tapos iiwan mo yung anak mo sa bed while doing that. Guilty. Gusto mo lang ng tahimik, guilty. Gusto mong magkulong sa CR, let's say, for 10 minutes, guilty. Humingi ka ng tulong kahit kanino, guilty. Bumalik ka sa work kasi kailangan, guilty. Hindi ka bumalik sa work, guilty pa din. Walang tamang decision sa pakiramdam mo. But let me tell you this. The fact na you feel guilty doesn't automatically mean na you're a bad mom. So if you're carrying that guilt today, be gentle with yourself. Kasi just to remind you, your baby doesn't need a perfect mom. Your baby needs a mom who loves them, who keeps showing up, who says sorry when you make mistakes, and who chooses to keep trying every single time. And sometimes it's more than enough. And the last thing we're gonna talk about is losing your identity. Let's start with the physical changes first. We all know na after giving birth, your body doesn't instantly go back to the way it was before. Swerte mo na lang kung mayaman ka at may pampaderma ka, di ba? Pero most of us doesn't have that privilege. So you will gain weight, you get stretch marks, your tummy changes, magkakaroon ka ng belly bag, yung breast mo mag-change, your hair starts falling out. Look at mine. And sometimes your skin changes. Scary. I'm not here to scare you, okay? Normal lang lahat to. You just need to be prepared. Then habang sinusubukan mong tanggapin lahat ng changes sa body mo, maririnig mo pa yung comments ng ibang tao. I remember that time when I had the worst breakout of my life. As in, sobrang dami kong pimples. Ayan, makikita nyo dyan, ipa-flash ko. I didn't even realize it back then. But I was crying almost every day. Hindi ako makalabas ng bahay. I tried almost every skincare product on the market. Name it, baka nagamit ko na yan nung time na yon. Kasi I was hoping na something would work. Takot ako may bumisita sa akin, whether it was my friends, relatives, or anyone else. Whenever I had to go out, I always wore a mask. Buti na lang, it was during the pandemic. So wearing one felt normal. And pahupa na yung pandemic, my skin also slowly started to heal. May mga bumps pa rin and marks na natira, but it was so much better than before. And I was finally starting to gain my confidence back. I was ready to go out again and meet some of my friends. Then eto na, I bumped into an acquaintance. He was a guy and we weren't even that close. We just greeted each other from time to time. And the moment he saw me, the first thing he said was, "Anong nangyari sa mukha mo? Anong nangyari sa mukha mo?" Ganun. Imagine, you're finally rebuilding your confidence, only to lose it again in a matter of seconds. I went home and cried the whole night. I took it so personally. Kasi, why would you comment on something I'm already painfully aware of? Like, dude, I see my face every day. I look myself in the mirror and say, okay, eto ako ngayon. I know what happened. And I don't need to be reminded. So please, if you notice that someone has gained weight, has acne, has scars, or anything else na nag-change sa appearance nila, let's choose kindness. Not every observation needs to be said out loud. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to keep it to yourself and shut up. You never know what battle that person is already fighting. Right now, thankfully, I'm becoming more secure with myself. Kapag may nagko-comment sa akin about my weight or my face, it doesn't affect me as much anymore. Kasi I realize ganun talaga eh. There will be times when I'm glowing. There will be times now I look stressed. Even my weight fluctuates, no? So those comments don't affect me the way they used to be. I just laugh it off most of the time. Like right now, a lot of people saying that I've gained weight, but I still see the beauty in it because I think I look healthier. And when I lose weight naman, when I'm payat, I still see the beauty in it. Say I can wear bikinis and feel confident. So at the end of the day, na-realize ko na it's about helping yourself then build your confidence instead of letting other people's opinion define how you see yourself. Kasi yung mga random comments na ganyan, hindi talaga siya mawawala. Nandyan na yan. You just got to deal with them. So yeah, yun yung mga losing your identity when it comes to physical changes. Now, let's talk about the part that's a little harder to see, the mental and emotional side of losing your identity. Kasi yun nga, before becoming a mom, you had your own life. You had dreams, goals, hobbies, a career, friends, and things that make you feel like you. And then one day, nanay ka na, biglang lahat na lang ay umiikot sa iisang tiny human. Yung schedule mo, yung decisions mo, yung body mo, yung time mo, hindi na sa'yo yan. And while there's nothing wrong with that, minsan nakakalimutan natin na may version tayo out of motherhood. I think it is one of the reasons why I'm such a strong advocate for moms to rediscover their individuality, no, after becoming a mother. And no, I'm not saying this because I want moms to prioritize themselves over their children. It's actually the opposite. Kasi ito yung totoo. When a mom is genuinely happy, fulfilled, and emotionally healthy, she has more love, patience, and energy to give to her children. You become a better mom when you also take care of yourself. When you have an outlet, whether it's working out, reading, painting, creating content, running a business, what else? Simply having time for yourself, you can start filling your own cup again. And when your cup is full of those positive things, don't pour from exhaustion anymore. I'm not saying na your anger will magically disappear overnight. Healing doesn't work like that. Kung ako nga, nagagalit pa din kay Kali from time to time eh. For me, I only started rediscovering myself when Kali was around 4 years old. That's when I slowly found time to enjoy my own habits again. And now that she's older and more independent, it's become a little easier because she's capable of doing more things on her own. Kaya ang daming nagtataka kung bakit ang dami kong time lumabas or why I'm always posting myself going out. Ang iniisip ng iba, ang dami kong time sa sarili ko. And they assume that I'm less of a mom or that I'm neglecting my child. Nakakalungkot yung ganung mindset, no? But what they don't see is my everyday routine. I take care of Kali from the moment we wake up until I tuck her into bed every single day. May kasama pang kamot sa likod yun. They only see a few hours of my life on social media. They don't see the 20 plus hours that I spend being a mom. So please no, don't judge a mom just because she chooses to go out alone once in a while. Sometimes, yung mga few hours na yon being by herself is exactly what she needs to come home as a better, happier, or more present mom. Looking back, I realized something. Taking time to find myself again and my individuality didn't make me love my daughter any less. Actually, it made me a calmer mom. I think they also deserve a mother who feels alive now, fulfilled and whole. So to every mom that is listening, don't lose yourself completely in motherhood. Motherhood is a beautiful part of who we are, but it should never be the only thing that defines us. And ayon, to end this vlog, I want to start saying that I'm no expert on postpartum. I'm not a doctor or a mental health professional. This is simply my personal take based on my own experiences and the stories I've heard from other moms. And gusto ko lang i-highlight to, no? Ito yung pinakamahalaga. Uulitin ko. If you're not surrounded by the right people during this season, you'll most likely drown in this new version of yourself. Instead of healing, you slowly become someone you never wanted to be. At nakakalungkot yun. The exhaustion will turn into anger. The loneliness will turn into resentment. Yung guilt mo is part of your everyday thoughts. Kaya ang support, mahalaga siya during this season. Kasi a mother's environment can shape how she heals. Lalo na when she feels seen, heard, or supported. Nagkakaroon siya ng space to recover, no? Not just physically, pero emotionally and mentally. Because, uulitin ko, postpartum isn't just about healing from childbirth. It's about healing while learning to become a completely new version of yourself. And no mother should have to go through that journey alone. Danas ko yan, and I don't want any other woman to feel what I felt during that time. All with love from a mom who's been there.